You were never asking for too much. You were asking the wrong person. There is a kind of heartbreak that doesn't come from being abandoned. It comes from being made to feel unreasonable. From slowly learning to apologize for your needs. From hearing things like, "You're too sensitive. You're asking for too much. Why can't you just be happy?" And after hearing it enough times, you start questioning yourself. Maybe I am too needy. Maybe I expect too much. Maybe love isn't supposed to feel this safe. Maybe nobody can give me what I need. But here's the painful truth many people don't discover until years later. You weren't asking for too much. You were asking the wrong person. And those are two completely different things. Because the wrong person has a way of making normal needs feel excessive. Not because your needs are unreasonable, because meeting them was never a priority. Think about how many people have spent years shrinking themselves to fit inside someone else's limitations. They stopped asking for reassurance, stopped expressing disappointment, stopped bringing up concerns, stopped talking about what hurt them. Not because the hurt disappeared. Because they got tired of being treated like the problem every time they mentioned it. And that's where so many people lose themselves. Not during the breakup. Not during the argument. But during the period where they start editing their own emotions just to keep the peace. Have you ever noticed that? How some relationships slowly turn you into a quieter version of yourself. You become careful. Careful about what you say. Careful about what you need. Careful about how much space you take up. Careful about asking for anything at all. And eventually you stop asking. Not because your needs disappeared, it's because disappointment became predictable. The strange thing is that when you're in that situation long enough, you start believing everyone would react the same way. You think every partner would find your needs annoying. Every friend would find you difficult. Every relationship would require you to settle, so you stop expecting more. You stop hoping for more. You stop believing more exists. And that's one of the saddest things the wrong relationship can do. It doesn't just hurt you. It changes what you believe you're allowed to receive. Because being consistently unmet has a way of lowering your standards without you realizing it. You begin calling survival compatibility. You begin calling inconsistency normal. You begin calling emotional neglect independence. You begin calling loneliness peace, not because those things are healthy, because you've adapted to them. And adaptation can be dangerous when you're adapting to something that is hurting you. The hardest part is that many people don't leave these situations because they think they're asking for too much. After all, if every conversation becomes an argument, if every request becomes a burden, if every emotion becomes an inconvenience, eventually it starts to feel easier to stay silent. So they stay, not because they're happy, because they've been convinced their expectations are unrealistic. But let's pause for a moment. Wanting communication isn't asking for too much. Wanting honesty isn't asking for too much. Wanting effort isn't asking for too much. Wanting consistency isn't asking for too much. Wanting someone who considers your feelings isn't asking for too much. These aren't luxury requests. These are relationship basics. Yet the wrong person can make you feel guilty for wanting the bare minimum. And what's interesting is that you often don't realize how distorted your perspective became until you meet someone different. Someone who responds without making you beg. Someone who listens without becoming defensive. Someone who remembers the things that matter to you. Someone who makes effort feel natural instead of negotiable. The reassurance you had to fight for becomes freely given. The respect you had to earn becomes automatic. Not because you changed, because the environment changed. And that realization can be both healing and heartbreaking. Healing because you finally understand you weren't impossible to love. It's heartbreaking because you realize how much time you spent blaming yourself. How many nights did you sit there wondering what was wrong with you? How many times did you rehearse conversations before speaking because you were afraid of being called needy? How many needs did you bury? How many tears did you hide? How many parts of yourself did you shrink just to remain acceptable? The truth is, the wrong person doesn't always reject your needs directly. Sometimes they reject them subtly, through indifference, through inconsistency, through making promises they never keep, through showing you, over and over again, that what matters to you doesn't matter to them. And eventually the message becomes clear, not because they said it, because they demonstrate it. That's why actions hurt more than words. Words create confusion. Actions create clarity. People can say they care. People can say they love you. People can say you're important. But the truth usually shows up in what they repeatedly do, not what they occasionally say. And this is where so many people finally have their breakthrough. Because they realize they weren't difficult. They were simply asking someone for something they were never willing or capable of giving. Imagine standing in front of an empty well demanding water. Day after day, month after month, year after year. Eventually you might start believing water doesn't exist. When the real issue was that you kept returning to the wrong well. The wrong person can make healthy needs feel unreasonable. The right person often makes them feel understood. That's the difference. One relationship teaches you to suppress yourself. The other teaches you that your voice is safe. One relationship makes you question your worth. The other reflects it back to you. One relationship leaves you feeling like a burden. The other reminds you that connection was never supposed to feel like begging. And maybe that's what people mean when they talk about emotional compatibility. Not perfection. Not constant agreement. Not a fairy tale. Just two people who don't make each other feel guilty for being human. Because being loved shouldn't require becoming smaller. It shouldn't require abandoning your needs. It shouldn't require pretending you're okay when you're not. Real love doesn't ask you to disappear. It gives you room to exist. And maybe the most important thing you'll ever realize is this: the people who truly value you rarely make you feel ashamed for needing care. The people who truly care about you don't treat your emotions like an inconvenience. The people who are meant for you don't make you earn basic respect through suffering. So if you've spent years believing you were asking for too much, consider the possibility that you weren't. Consider the possibility that your needs were never the issue. Consider the possibility that your heart wasn't difficult. It was simply knocking on a door that was never going to open. And sometimes healing begins the moment you stop questioning the size of your needs and start questioning the people who made you feel guilty for having them. Because the truth is, you were never asking for too much. You were asking the wrong person. And once you understand that, you stop shrinking yourself to fit relationships that were never big enough to hold you.